Hey guys, Jacqueline Fernandez here at the Alert Center. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. We are discussing a topic with the Better Business Bureau, what trust in the marketplace looks like. I'm sure you can come up with a few adjectives yourself, but Tristan is going to join us to talk about a few of these items, and then, maybe you can add to that list. And then we're going to tarry into what good business looks like. So all under the same umbrella. Tristan's going to join us now, of course, from the Better Business Bureau. Tristan, thank you again for your time, and you typed up these notes, which I appreciate, so thanks again for that as well. Thanks for joining us. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Now that we figured out the audio issues, so thank you so much. Thank you to our web department. Everybody really appreciate that. So I'm not the techie guru, and so when we come together and get the heads combined, I do appreciate it in figuring out these little techie issues. So just want to throw that out there. But Tristan, so let's talk about where trust starts. There is a number one here.
Yeah, so trust starts with just the standards that businesses put on themselves. So when it comes to trust, it's just how do consumers think about your business and how can you make sure that they have a good idea about your business. So to start, transparency is number one, whether it's with policies, prices, contracts, making sure that the consumer knows exactly what they're getting and what price they're paying, and there's no random fees or random issues they run into in the future.
Yeah, okay, that's brilliant. And then we have the second one, making sure that businesses do the right thing. Okay, so, you mentioned it starts with trust at the top of the pyramid. And then why is making sure businesses do the right thing so important, perhaps not only to the business owners themselves, but also to the people seeking that kind of business, that kind of industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all over the state, we have plenty of people who work hard to make their money and get things done if they have a problem, whether it's a plumber, a transmission issue, or need a roofer. These people work hard for their money. And so their goal is to make sure that when they have a problem, they get it done and it's done right. And along with going for businesses, is businesses, when they work well and they do what they're supposed to, and even when nobody's looking, it makes those consumers so much more likely to come back to them and be a repeat customer. And that's why there's so many great businesses around Omaha that have been around for years and years.
I like that. That's that integrity part, right? Nobody is looking, and you still do your due diligence, so to speak, as a business owner. So here's something that is really important to me as a customer. When I make a phone call or send an email, I like to know that my phone call will be returned. My email is going to be returned, right, in a relatively timely manner. So how important is that responsiveness to customers?
It's extremely important. As a customer, when you have a problem, you want it done as efficiently as possible. You want the job done right, but you don't want to be waiting around. And so just as a business, if you can find a way to have a system where if someone calls and maybe there's no one able to pick up, there's a good system where they can get back to that consumer as quick as possible so they can get the job done right. And if that consumer gets the job done right in a quick manner, they're going to tell their friends. They're going to say, oh, this business was great. They did everything I needed them to. They called me back right away, and it was all complete. And that just helps businesses be so much more likely to get repeat customers and then word of mouth customers as well.
And it seems that good businesses go beyond just making a sale. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to businesses, their goal is to, one, make money, but also make sure that the job is done right. So once they get that sale, they know, okay, we are receiving these people's hard-earned money so we can put in the work. So it goes more than just getting the sale. It comes to getting to know the consumer they're working with, getting to know their background and how they can help them, and if there's any issues in the future, how they should reach out to them and make any problem solved. So just building a relationship is so much more important than just getting the sale, because that's how I've said it before, is that repeat customer is huge for all businesses.
Right, and then word of mouth goes really far too with these different businesses as well, right? I mean, if you know someone, you've built trust, you've built that relationship, friend, family member, what have you. I mean, if you say, Jacqueline, this is a really good contractor here in the Omaha area. I know you were looking to put up new siding. I'm more likely to trust you, a good friend, than I am to randomly pick someone out in a phone book per se.
Yeah, definitely. So Omaha is such a tight knit community where there's so many people where, especially in storm season, when everyone might need a roof done or might have some repair they need, is how nice is it when you can go to your neighbor and they give you just a great business that you can go, oh yeah, let me just call them real quick. That just saved me so much time and effort from having to look them up or research them. It makes it so much easier just to have that word of mouth. And if you're a business that does a good job consistently, then that word of mouth is just going to spread more and more.
Yeah, and Tristan, all of these things, great qualities for not only business owners, but, customers to kind of practice in their everyday lives. True. The idea of trustworthiness and, getting back to people and this sort of thing, doing one's due diligence. I always get caught up on that phraseology for some reason. Regardless, anything else that you wanted to add? I mean, tax days right around the corner, and, making sure that you're being trustworthy and dotting those dots and adding those zeros where we should, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just be trustworthy. It makes it so much easier for yourself and everyone else when you're true to yourself. And then also just ask the questions when you are working with the business. Make sure to ask as many questions as possible to make sure that they are transparent and you're also getting exactly what you need. And it'll just set you up for so much success in the future.
Yeah, that's great advice as well. All right, Tristan, thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we'll see you next week. All right, if you're just joining us at the Alert Center, we were talking with Tristan with the Better Business Bureau about what good business looks like. So he did send me a list of notes here, which is always very helpful. So in a nutshell, let's see, good business and then trust in the marketplace. That's where we started. So I'm backtracking and then re-backtracking again. So transparency, clearly a big one. Integrity in action. This is, making sure businesses do the right thing. Responsiveness to customers. We all want you to return that phone call or email we sent you to get back to us. We, as the consumer, want to pay you money to help us, right? So make sure you return that phone call or email. So just a few things here and there to keep in mind. Meanwhile, we're going to discuss the weather a little bit. We do have a First Alert 6 weather day coming up here, but let's focus on today, shall we? I love this shot. I always show this shot first thing off the bat because it's, I think, one of the coolest shots there is. This is a live look from our Blackstone camera at the Blackstone District, and you can take a live look as we are looking down the road here towards downtown, and the sun is shining, not a cloud in the sky in this shot. So sunny and breezy today with a high of 65. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 41. So not that bad out there. Now a look from our Southwest First National camera at the Desert Dome. You can see the sunshine in this one too, just glimmering off the dome there. Wednesday, mostly sunny and breezy, a high of 79. Then I'm going to head to our website as we discuss Thursday. This is our First Alert 6 weather day that we have on the radar here now. Now, for the latest, you can always head to our website for stories as well. This is firstalert6.com. Then I did already kind of pull this up, but for future, you can see that gray tab at the top of the web page here. You can click here, First Alert 6 weather, and that will take you to the weather page. So this is what we're focusing on here for First Alert 6 weather day with 2 rounds of storm potential. So as of right now, this is where it stands. Okay, so you can see morning spotty storms could impact the morning commute. So at this point, drive safely out there if you are commuting Thursday morning. Then expect another round of spotty strong storms after 5 o'clock at night, and a small number of storms that could easily become severe. Okay, so if you take a look at these graphics here on the left, you can see what we're talking about. 84 degrees out there, so it's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a swampy storm day as well, so something to take note of here. Then as we take a look at the severe weather risk, okay, so we start from the outside, work our way in. Here's a 1, Kansas City area is a 1, so that's minimal. Then we get more into the isolated area at a level 2, and you can see how that progresses. We take a look at these severe threats. So it looks like we are in the low as of right now for tornado, wind, and hail damage. And we will leave this as a web extra for you to follow along with. If you click on this gray banner up here, then we'll have the hourly, 3-day, 10-day, and weekend outlook for you, and I'll leave that as a web extra for you, as I mentioned earlier. In the meantime, just want to say thank you so much for joining us at the Alert Center. We will have all your latest stories and an update on your weather and your forecasts, etc., coming up on our broadcast at 3 o'clock with our Dave Zavolinsky. We'll see you then.